Hi everyone, welcome to the Icehouse podcast. Awesome to have you tuning in today. I'm Bryar Stewart, the community manager at the Icehouse, and today we have Kirstie Macmillan, the co-owner and manager of her family business, Farm to Farm, on us with the podcast. Kirstie has done the owner manager program 45 and more recently coaching with the Emmet Hobbs. So thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thanks, Bryar. Great to be here.
Awesome. And yeah, we really want in this recording and this conversation to highlight your resilience and your grit, specifically in these times, how you've been really creative in sort of refreshing Farm to Farm and what you guys do post-COVID. So we're going to dive into that stuff during this conversation. But I wanted to sort of set the scene and ask if you could explain your business to our listeners and your journey of becoming a business owner.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Bryar. So Farm to Farm Tours, we specialise in multi-day tours, travel and events with a focus on farming. So anything to do with farming, food, wine, and generally, but pre-COVID, sorry about the C word, but pre-COVID, we were very much an internationally focused business. So we would spend May generally through to July, August taking Kiwis on trips overseas, and over the summer months we would be hosting international visitors who were coming to New Zealand to perhaps learn about our farming, anything from French winemakers to South American dairy farmers, or Americans coming for a holiday with a farming interest. So pretty varied, from technical to right through to quite just really rural interest trips. And the New Zealand winter, we were generally taking a lot of semi-retired farmers away, or also technical groups who wanted to go and visit their markets or attend agricultural events overseas. So
wow,
that's Farm to Farm in a nutshell. Yeah. And I, as I mentioned, grew up with the family business, and so I've always been involved to some degree. Initially, actually, I studied law and practiced law after university. Ross, my father, the business was growing, and he needed a bit of assistance when I think he had a junior member of the team went on maternity leave, and so I took a trip for him and really enjoyed it. And I'd always enjoyed a lot of the travel that I'd organised when I'd been on my OE around the world, etc. And so we thought we'd give it a go, and that was about 15 years ago. And here I am.
History. Yeah, that's
sure.
Awesome. Yeah,
yes.
that's so cool. And I love hearing what Farm to Farm specialises in, because it's not just sort of, travel or event organising, but it's real specific into farming and wine and our culture, which is really special to hear. I love that. Awesome. Yeah. So that really does set the scene. In terms of the services and how it works now, how has it changed since COVID, since the last sort of 18 months?
Well, we actually had a merino group, international merino group here in March last year, and that was sort of when things were looking a bit shaky, and that was all fine. We were very lucky with that, and then suddenly we were set for all our trips to start heading away May, June, July. And of course, there was a lot of uncertainty, and then bump for into lockdown, and so all of those completely disappeared.
Wow.
Off the radar, pretty much all of our business indefinitely. And so that was quite it really was a shock at the time. And we knew pretty early on, however, that we did have our Kiwis, and we knew New Zealand well. We organised trips in New Zealand, so we decided to hit our New Zealand base with a survey and see where everyone wanted to go, and we put together some New Zealand tours, and when we can run them, they're fantastic.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that, because it just shows that you had a challenge, but I love that you sort of asked the people in your community, where do you like to go, and then refreshed Farm to Farm to sort of hit those people in New Zealand that are still wanting to go on holidays and explore their own backyard in ways, right?
Yeah,
so
when they can.
And an awesome opportunity, especially while they can. That's cool. Nice. Yeah. What's been, so I'd say that would answer the question of what is your biggest challenge, right? That I'm sure that season of things just closing down, going into lockdown, overcoming it. What's been the biggest highlight in the journey? And in comparison to that.
Yeah, no, I think obviously, the loss of the business was tough, and also reducing the team a little, and certainly not, it's ongoing, that we certainly aren't all back in the office all the time and things like that. So that loss of the connection, the face-to-face connections of the team a little. But the highlight's certainly been, I guess, slowing down in New Zealand, the trips. So we've been able to, often when people come from overseas, it's quite a short time and quite targeted in what they want to include and what we need to do. And you probably can't get off the beaten track quite as much as you'd like to. I mean, we do anyway, because we're visiting rural properties, but just being able to explore some of those areas. And also because we started in spring when we could last year, and I think everyone was just really ready. The people that came, they were just really ready to be around other people and get out, because they'd been stuck at home. And so it's really rewarding seeing people enjoying meeting each other and meeting other Kiwis in rural parts of New Zealand. And just that's been it's been great.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great answer. For you personally, what's the favorite thing that you do? What is a favorite part of your job? Or
now or then, or generally?
Yeah, both. But
no, for me it's the people connections.
Great.
It really is. And I have loved going to some places that I hadn't been to for a long time, because you're often busy organizing things internationally. So for sure it's not nearly as beneficial financially, but we really have been able to take our time around New Zealand and just discover some fantastic parts we don't usually get to.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a special opportunity. Great. When did you first hear of the Icehouse? And then, when did you first hear of the Icehouse? Because I know you did owner manager before coaching, right?
Yes, I did. So it was great. It was, I think we finished, it was the summer, February 2019, I think. So family friends actually recommended it, and they had been through one of the programs and couldn't speak highly enough of it. And then I knew someone else who had done it, so I spoke to him, and I heard great things. So I did that, and it really was wonderful, and probably had a lot of things that were starting to happen that then of course have been a bit kneecapped by what's happened, but they're still there, and I think that that will still happen. And then Emmet was part of our team advising us when we did the owner manager program. So when a coaching opportunity came available, that was quite a natural choice to work with him. So
yeah, that's great. Nice. And like you said, even though finishing up the program in 2019, there's probably a whole lot of ideas that you would have liked to outwork if it was in normal circumstances, but no doubt you'll be able to pick that up in hopefully a couple of years time, maybe next year, and start running with some of those ideas, which is exciting to know.
It is.
It's an opportunity.
Yes, it's the cash flow and the growth.
Exactly. So how has Emmet supported you in your business, and how have you found the Icehouse coaching?
I think it was quite early on when I first connected with Emmet for the coaching. I think we were in lockdown last year. So it was actually really good. And I've been thinking about this. It's with a family business, you can get to the point where you don't want to talk about the strife all the time with your family, because otherwise your family time becomes this hard business time as well. And so although really supportive and calm parents through this, and we just tried to stay positive, and there was a lot of it was out of our hands, but having someone outside of the business to talk things through with was just invaluable for me personally.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, that's great. Being able to, it's great to be able to bounce off your family, but there is a place and time to be able to bounce off someone that's external to a family business. It's something we hear so often with the sort of family business setup, how important it is to have external voices and advisors and sounding boards. So that's exactly what Emmet is. It's great to hear.
Absolutely. And, he's got a wealth of experience, and particularly working with a lot of family businesses as well. So I think that side of it, he already knew a bit about our business. So that was great. And we actually managed a face-to-face, and he came and I think we had breakfast with the family one morning when he was passing through. So, awesome. Really nice to have that personal connection too.
Totally. That's so awesome to hear. I love that.
Yeah.
What piece of advice in this time has stuck out to you?
I think, Emmet was really good at reminding me we'd talk a lot about opportunities or possible options on the business side, but also just checking in on well-being and how things were going on that front. And again, it was really nice not to just talk business and pretend that everything was rosy when and learn just to talk about different techniques and things like that. So and I also had a friend who was on the OMP program with me, and I think at one stage, because we have an annual catch up now, which is fantastic. It's really, really great to be able to do that. And I think he said to me to remember that it was you have this feeling of failing at times. You're thinking, oh shoot, it's not working, we can't run this trip, and we cancelled this, and da da da. And I think he said to me, remember that COVID did this to the business. It wasn't you personally. So sometimes it's hard to remember that.
To separate the two.
That's right. So yeah.
Oh, great advice. Don't you just love good friends that just sort of tell you how it is, but things that you would never sort of say to yourself, but you need to hear.
Yeah, that's right. So, but no, it's good. I'm hopefully there's starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's quite hard. We got a trip away to the Chatham Islands yesterday. Wow. But it's always a bit touch and go whether they're going to be able to go at the moment. So yes. Yeah, everyone's vaccinated and all those sorts of things. So
good on you. Love that answer, and just love for me too, it's all about the people, like you said a bit earlier on. And in this setting too, I love that how you mentioned your cohort sort of have a reunion each year and catch up, and just think that sort of side of the Icehouse community is so valuable. Good to hear even a couple years on still catching up.
We are, and we have a WhatsApp group as well, and a lot of people are everyone's affected in different ways, and so it's just remembering. I mean, we're in different boats, but we're all in the same storm. So totally.
It's a safe place to sort of celebrate the highs, but also the lows, and there's been a few of those in the last 18 months. It's good to have a strong cohort for sure. So awesome, and very encouraging as community manager for me to hear that stuff's so naturally happening. It's so encouraging to hear. Would love to hear, have you made any sort of lifestyle or personal adjustments since COVID and the shift in doing business?
I think I've always really enjoyed getting out into nature, and I probably found it was a bit harder at times to get motivated to do that last year for a wee bit there. And then once I got back into that, and actually because things were a lot quieter, I had a lot more time to do that. And I just started thinking, well, you've got to, make sure you're getting in those things that actually lift your heart, I guess, so just making sure that fresh air, that getting the endorphins going and those sorts of things. So
totally, it's really encouraging.
And I'm sorry, because I'm very conscious that got the freedom to be doing that at the moment, whereas a lot of people are locked in. So trying to make the most of it.
Totally, we're feeling for our Auckland business owners and family members. Absolutely. And friends. They're definitely doing it. a lot more tough in this time. But one encouraging thing I do hear from, business owners in Auckland and across New Zealand is COVID really, like you said, has created a bit more of balance where they can find a bit more time to implement things into their routine that they couldn't before. And, hoping that it sticks, like health and wellness and time for yourself and, reaching out to people in your world a bit more intentionally. So good to hear it's something that sort of shifted in your world too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, for sure.
Yeah, totally. Cool. What is some advice that you'd give a business owner needing to adjust, just like sort of you have and did in this new climate, but they're just unsure where to start?
Yeah, I think it's always asking lots of questions and being adaptable. And as I said, having that support outside of the business is really worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, asking lots of questions. I think that's really important to mull over that, asking questions doesn't mean you don't, it's okay not to know it all. It's okay, to ask for help. It's really important to note. Yeah, that's great. Final question. How can people support Farm to Farm if they wish?
Oh, how can they book a trip with us?
Yes.
World's our oyster next year, maybe. But no, I guess I know it's hard to plan for a lot of people at the moment, but we know New Zealand well, and we've got a great network around the world. It doesn't all have to be agricultural, but we reward the staff, take yourself away for a high level meeting somewhere exotic.
Yeah.
So,
that's a great idea.
I guess that would be it. Keep us in mind if you're planning any incentives or travel.
Yeah, I love that, and it's really cool to hear and learn more about Farm to Farm and what you guys do and what you specialize in. And I'm sure there'll be a couple of business owners listening to this and going, okay, I'll store that in the back of my mind. We're ready to do that. So please do support the awesome family business Farm to Farm and the incredible work that you guys are doing. But just wanted to thank you so much
Bryar.
for sharing your story and hoping that it inspires other business owners in similar situations to you. So appreciate your time.
Okay, thanks so much, Bryar.